When preparing for an interview, it's important to know what to say and what not to say.
Here are our top tips on how to prepare for an interview. A good question to ask is, what can I expect in development, training and support?
This is a really good question to ask to show that you're not just looking for a position for now, but for the future. You want to develop long term and you want to know what your career path could look like. Another good question to ask is, what are the main objectives and responsibilities of the role?
It's always crucial to know exactly what you're getting yourself in for when you're going in for a job. Job descriptions can be sometimes generic, so it's always good to find out exactly what your roles and responsibilities are going to be. Another important question to ask is, how would you describe the company culture and management style?
This is a really good question to ask because you want to make sure the company you're going to be working for reflects the same work ethos that you have. If you don't see yourself working in that company, it's probably best that you ask that question at the start to understand that if it's going to be the right place for you or not. A really good question to ask towards the end of the interview would be something along the lines of, do you believe I have the necessary attributes to succeed in this role?
It's always good to get constructive feedback there and then, so that can address any concerns that they might have in the interview while you're there.
We've covered off some great questions to ask during the interview, so now let's discuss a few questions that we would suggest avoiding during the interview process.
A common theme would be discussing salary.
Lots of people feel like it's a good idea to ask what the salary is, but we would always suggest leaving that until after the interview. You need to make sure you've impressed them enough first and leave the negotiations to us, and we can discuss that with the HR department if you've been successful.
A big no-no in an interview is asking, what does this company actually do?
Believe it or not, lots of people do ask this question, but as we mentioned at the start, it's always best to research the company so you know exactly who they are, what they're about. You don't want to walk into an interview and looking like you don't even know who you're interviewing with. And that's a wrap on our top tips on what questions to ask during an interview.
Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed.